Hey there, friends. Frank Sullivan here. You know, when I slipped in my bathroom 3 years ago at the age of 67, I didn't just bruise my hip, I bruised my pride. Standing there in my pajamas, waiting for my daughter to help me up, I made myself a promise: never again. That bathroom was going to work for me, not against me. And I wasn't about to spend my retirement savings hiring contractors to do what these two hands have been doing for over 5 decades. So I picked myself up, dusted myself off, and decided to transform that hazardous bathroom into what my grandkids now call Grandpa's Spa Oasis. Today, I'm sharing exactly how I did it. And how you can too, even if you've never held a wrench in your life. Let me tell you something I've learned after 70 years on this planet. Knowing what you need is half the battle. Before I even picked up a tool, I spent a week just observing how I used my bathroom. Sounds silly, right? But it wasn't just about making things pretty. It was about making my life easier for the next 20 years. I noticed I was grabbing the towel rack to steady myself. A disaster waiting to happen, since those things aren't made to support weight. I realized I was squinting because the lighting was terrible. And don't get me started on trying to step over that bathtub ledge first thing in the morning with stiff joints. So I grabbed a notebook, nothing fancy, just a spiral one from my desk drawer, and I started writing down every little thing that gave me trouble. Reaching for the toilet paper. On the list. Turning those small faucet handles with my arthritic hands. Listed it. Standing long enough to shave. You bet that went in the notebook. This isn't about admitting defeat, folks. It's about being smart. We wouldn't take a road trip without a map. So why would we start a renovation without knowing exactly what needs fixing? One thing I learned from my contracting days: measure everything. And I mean everything. The height of your toilet, the width of your doorway, the distance between the sink and the toilet. These measurements matter more than you'd think when you're creating a bathroom that'll keep you independent. And here's a tip that saved me headaches later. Take photos of your bathroom from every angle before you start. I referenced those pictures at least a dozen times during my project. They're especially handy when you're at the hardware store, trying to remember if that pipe runs along the left or right side of the cabinet. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the bathroom: grab bars. I know what you're thinking because I thought it too. I don't want my bathroom looking like a hospital room. But listen, there's a world of difference between the institutional grab bars of yesterday and the stylish options available today. I installed what I call the safety triangle: grab bars by the toilet, in the shower, and near the sink. These aren't those ugly chrome things from hospital bathrooms. Mine are brushed nickel that match my fixtures. They look like fancy towel bars, but they're rated to hold over 250 pounds. Nobody who visits even realizes their safety features. They just think I've got good taste in bathroom hardware. Here's something they don't tell you in those installation manuals: you've got to find the studs. A grab bar attached to drywall might as well be attached to tissue paper. I used a stud finder, worth every penny of the $15 it cost, and marked the studs with painter's tape before I drilled a single hole. And speaking of drilling, if you don't hit a stud, don't panic. They make these wonderful toggle bolts that can support serious weight even in drywall. Just make sure they're rated for the job. The height of your grab bars matters too. I installed mine at 34 inches from the floor, right where my hand naturally reaches when I need support. too high or too low, and they become ornaments instead of safety devices. Now, one place I didn't skimp was the shower. I put in a vertical bar that does double duty. It's both a grab bar and a slider for my handheld shower head. And I added a horizontal bar right at tub level to help me get in and out safely. These two additions alone have probably saved me from another fall a dozen times over. The toilet area needed special attention. I installed a grab bar on the wall beside it, but I also added what's called a toilet safety frame. It's like having armrests on your toilet, and let me tell you, after knee replacement surgery last year, it was a godsend. One last thing about stability, don't forget the floor. I replaced my slick ceramic tiles with textured porcelain ones that provide grip even when wet. And I made sure there were no thresholds or lips between rooms that could trip me up. A smooth transition is what we're after, both in life and in flooring. The biggest challenge in my bathroom was definitely the shower and tub combination. That high step over the tub edge was becoming my daily Olympic event, and not in a good way. I considered ripping everything out and installing a walk-in shower, but my budget had other ideas. So I got creative. First, I installed a quality tub cut, a service where they actually cut a door into your existing tub. It cost about $700, which is a fraction of what a full shower replacement would have been. Now I just step through a little doorway to get into my shower. No climbing required. For those of you thinking about a complete redo, though, a curbless shower is worth every penny if you can swing it. My neighbor Bill put one in last year, and I'm not too proud to admit I've got a bit of shower envy. The shower floor was another concern. Those little mosaic tiles might look pretty, but they provide great traction because of all the grout lines. I chose a mosaic with slightly textured tiles for extra grip. And here's a tip. Darker grout not only looks better longer, but also helps you see the floor contours better if your eyesight isn't what it used to be. Now let's talk about the shower head. I installed a handheld one on a sliding bar, so it adjusts to any height. This is perfect for when I want to sit on my shower bench. Oh yes, I added a fold-down teak bench to the shower wall. It's there when I need it, out of the way when I don't. On mornings when my back is giving me grief, I can sit down to shower. It's not just about safety, it's about comfort too. Speaking of comfort, have you ever heard of a thermostatic shower valve? Before my renovation, I was doing that dangerous dance of adjusting the hot and cold knobs, trying not to scald or freeze myself. The thermostatic valve lets you set your perfect temperature once, and it stays that way. No more surprise cold shocks or steam burns. It costs a bit more upfront, but it's safer and actually saves water in the long run. For the tub itself, I added a textured adhesive to the bottom, simple strips that provide grip but don't interfere with cleaning. And I made sure to have a bath mat with rubber backing for outside the tub. Water on the bathroom floor is like black ice on the highway. You don't see the danger until it's too late. One small addition that made a huge difference was installing a recessed soap dish and adding shampoo dispensers mounted on the wall. No more bending over to pick up dropped soap or shampoo bottles, which is apparently how I wanted to break my neck in my golden years. Let's shine some light on another important aspect of an age-friendly bathroom: proper lighting. As we get older, our eyes need more light to see the same details younger eyes can spot easily. My bathroom used to have one sad overhead fixture that cast shadows everywhere they weren't wanted. The first thing I did was install LED recessed lights, 4 of them, evenly spaced across the ceiling. LEDs are perfect because they last nearly forever. They're energy efficient, and they provide clean, white light that makes it easier to see. But ceiling lights alone create shadows under your eyes and chin when you look in the mirror. Not flattering, and not helpful when you're trying to shave or apply makeup. So I added vertical light sconces on both sides of the mirror. This cross-lighting eliminates shadows and lets me see clearly. Here's something worth spending a little extra on: a lighted magnifying mirror mounted on the wall. Mine extends on an arm and can be positioned exactly where I need it. When I'm trying to remove a splinter or read the fine print on my medication, it's invaluable. I also installed under-cabinet lighting beneath my vanity. It serves as a night light, but it's also bright enough to help me find things I've dropped without having to turn on all the lights and wake up my wife. Now a word about switches. Those tiny toggle switches are no friend to arthritic fingers. I replaced all of mine with rocker switches, the kind you can push with an elbow or the back of your hand if needed. And I positioned them at 48 inches from the floor, which is the perfect height for me to reach without stretching or bending. Another electrical upgrade that's been a game changer: I installed outlets with built-in USB ports for charging my electric razor and toothbrush. No more adapters to fumble with or lose. And I made sure to use GFCI outlets everywhere in the bathroom. They'll shut off power instantly if water creates a short circuit. One luxury that's become a necessity is my programmable heated floor. I set it to warm up about 20 minutes before I wake up, so when my bare feet hit that tile at 6 a.m., it's nice and toasty. It's not just about comfort. Warm muscles and joints are less prone to injury. The last lighting touch was installing a motion sensor switch for the main lights. When I get up in the middle of the night, the lights automatically come on at a dim setting that doesn't blind me but provides enough illumination to navigate safely. They turn off on their own after I leave, which is perfect for those nights when I'm too groggy to remember to flip a switch. Let's face it, stooping, bending, and reaching aren't as easy as they used to be. That's why rethinking bathroom storage was a critical part of my renovation. The vanity cabinet under my sink used to be a black hole where things disappeared, never to be seen again. I'd have to get down on my hands and knees to find anything. So I ripped it out and installed drawers instead. Big, deep drawers on ball-bearing slides that extend fully, so I can see everything inside without bending over. The best part: I can open them with just a nudge of my knee if my hands are full or soapy. I also raised my medicine cabinet by about 4 inches. Such a simple change, but it means I don't have to bend my neck to see into the mirror anymore. And I chose a cabinet with adjustable shelves, so I can customize the height based on what I'm storing. For items I use every day, toothbrush, razor, face wash, I installed a shallow shelf right at eye level. No reaching required. Some folks might call it lazy. I call it smart planning. Another game changer was adding pull-out shelves in the linen closet. Instead of rummaging around in the back of deep shelves, I can now pull the entire shelf out like a drawer and easily see and reach everything. It cost about $40 per shelf in materials, and it's been worth every penny. Height matters for everything in an age-friendly bathroom. I mounted the toilet paper holder higher than standard, no more leaning over to reach it. and I added a second holder that's fully stocked with a spare roll. Running out of toilet paper and having to perform an awkward shuffle to the cabinet is now a thing of the past. Towel bars also got the height treatment. I installed them at exactly 48 inches from the floor, the perfect height for me to reach without stretching. And I added hooks at the same height for wet washcloths and hand towels. They dry better on hooks anyway. One storage solution that surprised me with its usefulness was adding a recessed niche in the shower wall. It keeps shampoo and soap at the perfect height. No more bending down to grab bottles from a shower caddy. If you're doing a full renovation, adding a niche is simple. If not, there are some excellent shower caddies that hang from the shower head pipe and keep everything at eye level. For my wife's makeup and accessories, we added a countertop carousel, like a lazy Susan, that spins to bring items from the back to the front without having to reach. Simple but effective. The last storage hack I'll share is something my daughter suggested: color coding. My medications are in red containers, vitamins in green, and first aid supplies in blue. When you're in a hurry or your glasses aren't handy, being able to grab the right container by color alone is surprisingly helpful. Let's talk about those small daily interactions that can become frustrating as we age: turning faucets, flushing toilets, and using other bathroom fixtures. The first thing to go was those small, round faucet handles that require a pincer grip and twisting motion, exactly the kind of movement that sends pain shooting through arthritic hands. I replaced them with lever handles that I can operate with the side of my hand or even my forearm if needed. For the shower, I installed a single lever pressure balancing valve that's easy to operate and prevents temperature fluctuations. But if you really want to up your game, touchless faucets are worth considering. I installed one at the sink, and it's been revelatory. No handles to turn with wet, soapy hands, and less cleaning since there are fewer nooks and crannies where grime can build up. Plus, it reduces water waste because it only runs when you need it. The toilet got in. Upgrade 2. I installed a comfort height model that sits about 2 inches higher than standard toilets. It's essentially chair height, which makes sitting down and standing up much easier on the knees and back. And I splurged on a soft close seat. No more loud slams in the middle of the night. For flushing, I went with a large, easy-to-use lever rather than a button. But there are also excellent touchless flushing options available if you want to go that route. Either way, it's about making every interaction as effortless as possible. The sink drain got a simple but effective upgrade: a pop-up drain with a large toggle on top rather than that little rod behind the faucet that you have to pull up. It's easier to find and operate, especially if your vision isn't what it used to be. I also installed a handheld bidet attachment on my toilet. Now, before you start chuckling, hear me out. As we age, maintaining proper hygiene can become more challenging due to mobility issues. A bidet keeps you clean with minimal effort and can be especially helpful for those with arthritis or limited range of motion. It's also gentler than toilet paper for those with sensitive skin or hemorrhoids, which, let's be honest, become more common as we age. One fixture that doesn't get enough attention is the shower door. I replaced my clingy shower curtain with a sliding glass door that operates on smooth ball bearings. No more wrestling with a wet curtain, and the door slides open with just a light touch. I made sure to get one with a large, easy grip handle that's easy to see against the clear glass. For the bathtub, I added a spa pillow that attaches with suction cups, It turns bath time into a proper relaxation session instead of an uncomfortable neck-craning experience. Small luxury, big difference. Even the little things matter. I replaced the tiny drain stopper pull in the bathtub with a toe-touch drain that I can operate with my foot. No more bending over and fishing around in water to find that little chain or lever. I've mentioned flooring briefly, but it deserves its own spotlight because it's literally the foundation of bathroom safety. The wrong flooring can send you to the emergency room. The right flooring keeps you steady on your feet. When I started my renovation, I had glossy ceramic tiles, beautiful but as slippery as an ice rink when wet. I replaced them with textured porcelain tiles that have a slip resistance rating. Look for tiles with an R rating of R11 or higher for bathrooms. The texture is almost imperceptible to the touch, but provides crucial grip when the floor is wet. Size matters too when it comes to tile. I chose larger format tiles, 12 x 12 inches, which means fewer grout lines. Grout lines can actually become tripping hazards as they wear down and create uneven surfaces. However, in the shower, I went with smaller mosaic tiles because the numerous grout lines provide better traction underfoot. The grout itself is worth investing in. I used an epoxy grout that's more expensive but is virtually stain-proof and doesn't need sealing. It's also slightly more rigid than standard grout, which means less crumbling and fewer uneven spots developing over time. For the area right outside the shower, I installed a built-in recess in the floor so that my bath mat sits flush with the surrounding tile. No edges to trip over, and the mat stays put instead of sliding around. Let's talk about those bath mats for a moment. I ditched the fabric ones that get soaked and become breeding grounds for mildew. Instead, I use a rubber mat with suction cups inside the shower and a microfiber mat with a rubber backing outside. Both go in the washing machine regularly, and both stay firmly in place when I need them most. Another flooring consideration is color contrast. As our vision changes with age, it can become harder to distinguish between surfaces if they're similar in color. I made sure there's a noticeable color difference between my floor and walls, and I used a darker tile for the shower floor than the bathroom floor. These visual cues help prevent missteps and falls. Temperature is another aspect of flooring that affects comfort and safety. Cold floors can cause us to rush, and rushing leads to accidents. As I mentioned earlier, I installed a heated floor system. If that's not in your budget, even a few strategically placed washable rugs with non-slip backing can make a big difference in comfort. One last tip about flooring: whatever type you choose, make sure it extends seamlessly into the shower without a threshold or lip to step over. This continuous flooring creates what's called a zero-entry shower and eliminates one of the most common tripping hazards in bathrooms. Let me share something important I've learned in my 70 years. Change is the only constant. What works for me today might not work for me in 5 years. That's why I built adaptability into my bathroom design. For instance, I installed blocking in the walls everywhere I might someday need to add grab bars, not just where I installed them initially. Blocking is just extra wood inside the wall that provides a solid mounting surface. It's invisible once the wall is finished, but it means I can add supports wherever and whenever I need them without tearing into the drywall to find studs. I also made sure my doorway was wide enough for a walker or wheelchair, at least 32 inches of clear space. Even though I don't need either right now, who knows what the future holds? Widening a doorway later is a major project. Doing it during a renovation is relatively simple. The same thinking applied to my vanity. I chose one that could be easily modified for wheelchair access if needed. The cabinet doors can be removed to create knee space, and the plumbing is already offset to the back to keep it out of the way. Electrical outlets were installed with the future in mind too. I added extra ones at various heights, including some lower on the wall that would be accessible from a seated position. They're there if I need them, and they're useful now for things like plugging in a night light or electric toothbrush. Lighting controls were another area for future-proofing. In addition to the standard switches, I installed a simple voice-activated system that connects to my smart speaker. Being able to say "turn on bathroom lights" is convenient now and could be essential later if mobility becomes more limited. The shower bench I mentioned earlier is another example of adaptive design. It's useful now when I'm tired or need to sit while washing my feet, but it could become a necessary feature rather than just a convenience as I age. I also installed an adjustable height shower head on a sliding bar. It works for me standing up now, but can be easily lowered if I need to shower seated in the future. Even my color choices were made with aging in mind. I used high-contrast colors between surfaces because our ability to distinguish low-contrast objects diminishes with age. And I avoided busy patterns that can create visual confusion and make it harder to find dropped items. One adaptation I'm particularly proud of is my medicine cabinet. I installed one with adjustable shelves and a magnifying mirror inside the door. As my prescription needs change or if my dexterity decreases, I can rearrange the shelves to keep the most important items at the most accessible height. The key to future-proofing is to make adaptations that are useful now but can become more supportive later. None of these features scream old person's bathroom. They just make life easier for everyone who uses the space, regardless of age or ability. Now let's talk money, because renovating a bathroom isn't cheap, but it doesn't have to break the bank either. My total renovation cost about $8,500, which is far less than the $15,000 to $20,000 quotes I received from contractors. The biggest saving came from doing much of the work myself. But and this is important, I know my limits. I did the demolition, installed grab bars, changed out fixtures, and handled the painting. But I hired professionals for the electrical work, plumbing rough-ins, and tile installation. Some things aren't worth risking just to save a few dollars, especially when safety is involved. If you're on a tight budget, consider a phased approach. Start with the most critical safety features, grab bars, non-slip flooring, and improved lighting, and add the comfort and convenience features over time. My renovation took 3 months, partly because I spread out the costs by doing it in stages. Shopping smart saved me thousands. I found my vanity on clearance because it was a floor model with a tiny scratch on the side that faces the wall. Nobody will ever see it, and I saved 40% off the retail price. I also bought fixtures during seasonal sales and stored them in my garage until I was ready to install them. For tile, I discovered that many stores have remnant sections where you can find small lots of tile at steep discounts. Since my bathroom is small, I only needed a few boxes anyway. The key is to buy a little extra for future repairs. Finding an exact match years later can be nearly impossible. Another cost-saving strategy was to keep the original layout. Moving plumbing or electrical lines can eat up your budget quickly. I worked with the existing locations of my toilet, sink, and shower, which saved me at least $2,000 in plumbing costs alone. For tools, I borrowed what I could from friends and neighbors. For specialty tools I needed briefly, like a wet saw for cutting tile, I rented instead of bought. Many hardware stores have rental programs that are perfect for DIY renovators. One area where I didn't cut corners was with safety features. Quality grab bars, non-slip flooring, and proper lighting are worth every penny. Instead, I economized on purely decorative elements. For instance, I chose a mid-range faucet, but splurged on the thermostatic shower valve because it affects both comfort and safety. If you're doing some of the work yourself, YouTube and online forums are invaluable resources. I learned how to install a grab bar properly by watching videos online, and I got advice on selecting the right tile from a home improvement forum for seniors. Don't overlook salvage yards and reuse centers either. I found a beautiful medicine cabinet for half the retail price at a Habitat for Humanity race store. It was brand new, just overstock from a hotel renovation project. Permit fees can add up, so check what work actually requires permits in your area. In my case, I needed electrical and plumbing permits, but not one for the cosmetic changes. Following code isn't just about avoiding fines. It's about ensuring your modifications are safe and properly installed. Lastly, consider the long-term savings of your renovation. The money I spent making my bathroom safer is nothing compared to what a single fall could cost in medical bills, or what assisted living would cost if I couldn't stay in my home independently. Sometimes spending money now saves much more later. Well, friends, we've covered a lot of ground today, from grab bars to lighting, from flooring to future-proofing. But the most important thing I want you to take away isn't about the specific modifications I made. It's about the mindset. Creating an age-friendly bathroom isn't about giving in to getting older. It's about taking control and making smart choices that allow us to maintain our independence for as long as possible. My bathroom renovation was one of the best investments I've ever made, not just in my home, but in my quality of life. Every morning when I walk into that bathroom and everything is right where I need it, at the height I need it, with the lighting that helps me see clearly, I feel a sense of pride. Pride that I had the foresight to prepare this space for the years ahead. And you know what? My grandkids love it too. The non-slip floors mean no more yelling "don't run" when they visit. The adjustable shower head works just as well for their heights as it does for mine. And the night light has prevented countless stubbed toes during sleepovers. That's the beauty of universal design. It works for everyone at every age. It's not about creating a senior bathroom. It's about creating a smart bathroom that adapts to changing needs. So I encourage you to look at your own bathroom with fresh eyes. What small changes could make a big difference in safety and comfort? Maybe start with just one thing: a grab bar by the toilet, or better, lighting by the mirror. You don't have to do it all at once like I did. If you found this information helpful, please consider subscribing to my channel. I've got more videos planned about age-friendly modifications for other areas of the home. And I'd love to hear about your own bathroom renovation experiences in the comments below. Remember, aging in place isn't about standing still. It's about creating a foundation that allows us to keep moving forward safely and independently. Thank you for spending this time with me today, and happy renovating.